What if the documentary everyone's arguing about wasn't the full story at all? What if what we saw was just the safe version, and the real footage is still sitting on a hard drive somewhere? Because according to 50 Cent, the version that streamed wasn't even close to complete. And that's where this gets uncomfortable. He claims 4 episodes barely scratched the surface. After it aired, he suggested insiders allegedly started reaching out privately with new claims, new receipts, new angles. Nothing confirmed in court. Nothing officially verified. But enough, he says, to prove the story isn't finished. And here's the part people miss. He hinted that unreleased material could drop independently, without corporate filters. If that happens, control shifts. And control is everything.
All the women in the world that Diddy could have gotten with, he chose 50 Cent's baby mother.
It's a lot of variables to this particular question. Because I talk to a lot of people, older, younger, even my daughter, who's 22, she didn't understand it. So people give their opinion based on what they've experienced and their environment, people they've been around. So to the people that understand boundaries and respect, I always tell men you should never date another man's girl if you're not aware of it. If you know
He didn't mince words.
He made it.
For him, crossing that line isn't just a mistake. It's a fundamental breach of respect. 50 Cent has made it clear that throughout his life, he has never knowingly pursued anyone with a prior connection to one of his friends. In his world, that's an unspoken code, one you simply don't violate. He also emphasized that Sean Diddy Combs is hardly a man short on options. With global fame, immense wealth, and limitless access, there was no scarcity of choices, making the alleged decision feel far more deliberate than accidental. From TK Kirkland's perspective, this wasn't poor judgment or coincidence. It was calculated. And when you place it against the backdrop of the long-standing tension between Diddy and 50 Cent, it becomes increasingly difficult, in his view, to interpret it as anything but intentional, adding yet another volatile layer to a story that continues to intensify.
He went after the baby mother of one of his rivals.
Exactly.
Someone who had been taking shots at him for years.
Absolutely.
On purpose.
And he went after her knowing that they had beef.
Right. And slutted her out.
Slutted out.
Just slutted her out.
Slutted out.
Having a whole basketball team run a train on her. And
I
just
totally
the whole
agree.
thing, right?
Totally agree.
Right.
But his reputation from when he worked at Uptown, I'll be sure's girlfriend.
Oh, Kim Porter.
Kim Porter.
Right.
That's his reputation.
I'll be sure his baby mother.
Baby mama.
Yeah.
Then Eric Serum, his friend, the one that had she had his baby, Mia. So he's had a reputation of going after people.
Tupac's ex-girlfriend. He got a baby with her too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my point that I'm making to the men listening, well, if you don't understand this, then you're just poorly educated and don't really have common sense. It's a no-no. There's no way I would go after Vlad's ex-girlfriend.
Right.
I'm so loyal that if I met a woman and she said, "Oh yeah, I used to date Vlad," I can't f with you, baby.
Right.
I won't even put my, excuse my language, because that's how I move. Other people don't move like that, but you see me in Paris, you see me all over the world. Why would I want to do that to mess up?
But this isn't just business rivalry. According to 50, it became personal years ago. The situation involving his child's mother, something discussed publicly and widely reported, crossed what he views as an unspoken boundary. No criminal accusation attached. No charges. Just a code, he says, that shouldn't be broken. And when that line was allegedly crossed, it stopped being industry competition and started feeling intentional. That tension never cooled. It just waited.
In the interview about, he said that he had, a lot of footage had to be down, the documentary had to be downsized. You understand? I don't really believe that, because a documentary is a documentary, and, they could have had 45 minutes. They could have had an hour, to each one of those. You understand? They left out certain things. He said they even left out the one about Sarah Chapman. You understand? And for whatever reason, he probably left out a lot of other different stars too. You know, situations that they could have spoke about. You understand? I have a problem with the documentary, you know, and I'm just going to let you know that the reason I have a problem with the documentary is that they know that they took my idea. You understand? They know that when I came to them, I laid out what they should do and how the documentary should be. You understand? She could say whatever she want to say. I talked to those producers before I even talked to her. They wanted to know what I had, what I was bringing, my pictures, all that stuff like that. And I told them about me, Tim, and Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? And how it would go. They did the same thing. This ain't the first time they stole from me, man. You know, if you look at the Notorious Big, if you watch the Notorious Big, that part about the shoes, I had that in my book. And I was talking to K.O. Copeland. He was one of the writers of that movie. And I told him about when I let Big use my shoes at Soul Train Award. You had this old flunky ass dude, Mike B, get on Angie Martinez's show and talk about, yo, Big, he wore mixed max shoes and he went out there and performed. When you go look at the film, when you go look at Big performing that on that show, ain't nothing mixed match about them shoes. There was $800 Maury's, size 14D, Big World 14E. E means that his shoes is a little wider than mine. He struggled, but he put them on and he went out there and performed. Those was my Gators that he had on. You understand? They did a little skit trying to disrespect me in the movie. You understand? And they
name entered the conversation. Gene Deal. His publicly claimed the documentary echoed ideas he says he presented long ago. According to him, certain elements lacked originality, and more importantly, certain powerful names were noticeably absent. That's his allegation, not proven in court. But he argues if people were truly uninvolved, why not show their defense clearly? Silence, he suggests, can protect more than it reveals. And that's where speculation multiplies.
And if 50 do another one, and I heard he's going to put it on YouTube or do whatever he's going to do, Puff ain't going to have nothing to do with that. Puff ain't going to have nothing to do to try to stop that because he can't. Because if he could stop it, it would have been stopped. You know why he can't stop it? Because Puff know people right there at Netflix. Don't think he don't. And I don't know if this guy still worked for them, but he was part of the flavor unit, Shakim. He was part of the flavor unit. He was good friends. He was cool with Puff and them. Flavor Unit and them, Queen Latifah and them, they was cool with Puff. If Puff would have sent the cease and desist over there and they could do it and he had the power and they wasn't right, they would have been done it. You see, it's still rolling, right? It's still going on, right? He ain't got that power no more. You understand? Now, could he sue them because they used his likeness or used him and stuff like that? I don't know. I'm not that versed in they using him. You understand? If they can steal your whole damn idea, your whole damn ideal, why can't they steal your whole damn intellectual property?
Gene Deal also turned his attention to what he described as Sean Diddy Combs's long-standing fixation on Tupac Shakur, arguing that it was never a passing rivalry or momentary tension, but a mindset that lingered for years. According to Gene, that sustained focus quietly influenced many of Diddy's behind-the-scenes maneuvers, shaped critical business decisions, and even colored the way he navigated personal and professional relationships. In his view, this wasn't just industry competition. It became a defining undercurrent in how Diddy operated over an extended period of time. And as more details resurface, Gene suggests that this perspective adds crucial context to patterns of behavior that many observers are only now beginning to scrutinize more closely.
I did see the interview that 50 did with Sherry, and he was talking about he didn't release the video about Puff having a kid by Kim Porter's friend, Sarah Chapman. Now, we all know that she used to date Tupac. You understand? So either he got her because he wanted some remnants of Tupac. We don't know. but it seemed like every dude that he had some kind of disdain, dislike, or that he idolized in a sense, he wanted their girl. Or he wanted to be a part of their girl. I don't know why. Yo, bro, this dude was, I don't know if he was in love or in hate for Tupac. He wanted to be an actor. He auditioned for Juice. But Pac beat him out for that Bishop thing. You understand what I'm saying? He wanted to be a part of that. Just go, and not so many years ago, when Puff started getting into that drugs and started using drug stuff, he started revamping some of Tupac's speeches. And if you think I'm lying, go look at the Grammy speech he did. Go look at a couple of speeches he did. It was the same exact words Tupac had said. That he was going to start this whole revolutionary of our people. That's Tupac. Black Lives Matter, the Black Liberation Movement, that was Pac. The Black Liberation Movement. Black Lives Matter? Come on, bro. This dude, everybody know that he had some kind of, I don't want to say disdain taste, but he had some kind of, I don't, jealousy of Tupac, bro.
He's also claimed that influence can only stretch so far. If a platform streams something controversial, does that mean the power to stop it is gone? That's the narrative being floated. Not confirmed. Not legally established. But heavily debated. Deal has even alleged there was long-standing tension involving Tupac, framing it as jealousy or rivalry. Again, these are claims made in interviews, not court findings. But when those statements resurface, they reopen decades-old wounds. And that's where history collides with the present.
You think that Diddy importer?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because of all the videotapes, because of the book, because of all the people she gave copies of her book to, or at least chapters, because of everything that she had on him, because of the tape that she used to blackmail him into a relationship and into a raise of him being sodomized by Andre Harrell. And I am not saying that allegedly, because I heard her and Kim Muir talking about it in the booth of the bathroom while snorting.
Then comes the chapter many viewers said felt rushed. Kim Porter. Her passing was officially ruled medical. That's confirmed. But critics argue the documentary didn't deeply explore her proximity to private business matters. Some interviewees have alleged she possessed sensitive knowledge. Those claims remain disputed and unproven. Still, her limited presence raised questions online. And unanswered questions create noise. There were also discussions about alleged tell-all material and leverage. No verified manuscript. No confirmed tapes. Just repeated allegations circulating in interviews.
It was alleged that she did have a book and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy. All the men that they slept with together, because there were men that they slept with together. There were swinging times that they slept with together. I don't know, man. How do you put your girl through some shit like that? Or how you look at your girl and knowing that she's another dude? What kind of demonic mind you have to be that far gone where that shit don't bother you, and got rid of them. They swimming with the fishes.
Wow, man. So she was about to expose all that in her book, them sleeping with men together.
She was going to expose everything. I heard it was tell all.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just curious, right? Did you know that Diddy and Kim had that type of relationship back then in real time?
Yeah. 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 Cause I know somebody personally that lives in Atlanta that was swinging with them, and I would never mention his name cause he's a good brother and he knows my family down there. You know, he knows my family down there, and, I would never, put his name out there like that. He's been in the music business. He done put a lot of groups, A-listed groups out there, especially A-list.
Other former associates have made claims about controlling behavior and intense internal dynamics. Wiretapping allegations. Physical confrontations. None proven in court as of this recording. But their inclusion in public interviews fuels the narrative that key details were softened or omitted. And omission can be louder than accusation. And then there's the party conversation. For years, rumors of elite gatherings, celebrities, and powerful figures have floated online. No official findings tying criminal wrongdoing to those events in the documentary itself. Yet critics say the coverage felt blurred. No full breakdown. No deep dive. Which leaves viewers wondering what wasn't expanded on.
Other day, they just did a whole thing with the girl that he was dating was the one that was putting the wiretaps and all of that out. It was a clear case. She came, hey, I was the one who was doing the wiretaping and all of this, right? The tapping. So I knew about this before she came out and said that she was the one that was doing it. I was sitting there like, damn, he know everything she doing. He know her conversation. I'm sitting there like when I'm sitting there right there next to him, when I'm hearing them saying, this is what Shakira Stewart was saying to Kim Porter on the phone that made him mad. That made him so mad at Shakira Stewart when he went to L.A. Reid party, hit him with the chair. You don't think if he hit a man with a chair for dating this girl, they gonna have a fight at home too. You know what I mean? That's why, they say, he busts her nose up on the boat. And have you ever been to Sandro Pay's see a brother play a mandolay? Remember that was in his song? I need a good woman next to me. So then it happened in what was it, Sandro Pay? Like that island. And then he bust her nose. They tried to make it seem like she slipped and fell. She slipped and fell and broke her nose. Nah, the truth was she slipped and fell and landed on his fist. Yeah, but that's what happens when you put your hands on females. I don't really have much respect for a man who's physically abusive towards women, man. I kind of think they be kind of suspect. I'd be like, man, girl.
She's also connected identity to family legacy, particularly statements about a father's influence. That interpretation remains opinion, not documented proof. She's voiced concerns about parenting environments and narratives involving younger figures connected socially. Again, disputed. Again, not proven.
On all his celebrity friends that denounced those allegations and were like, this is false, and
Liars.
They were saying, yeah, should they speak up now?
It's getting a little too late for those who are complicit. Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him. Or for Justin Bieber alone. Jones, what he saw and what happened to him in his own mama house. All of those strangers, them up involved, looking around, seeing what was going on. And let's just be clear, it sounds like her house was a house of, professional freak-offs. So who knows what he saw or what could have happened to him while she was busy entertaining people and pouring and getting tips. as she would say, for her after our life.
Oh yeah. He was. I'm gonna say he was surprised to hear that.
School bus driver. No, was he surprised or was he like, zip it, you talking too much? Because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like you talking a little bit too much. They don't need to know about that. While she was sitting up there, oh, because I was a bus driver.
In Sean's own words, in Diddy's own words, he had said he had a sigh of relief learning that he was the son of a hustler or a gangster. Like he wanted that status. He wanted to say that he was a sigh of relief is a wild thing to say, that your daddy was a gangster or a hustler. That's what you heard that he was.
Well, I mean, like Tim said, they had a bunch of blaxploitation movies being played around the house all the time. They grew up with the Mac playing. They grew up with Superfly playing. Like, I mean, if that's what you got going on, you got two women in the house and there's no men around, and these are what the little boys are watching. You got basketball players coming over late at night. You got hustlers coming over, PIMPs coming over, women who look like they were modeling for Jet Magazine coming over. Like, it sounds like the nature of the environment is what shaped their perception of what cool was. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure for him it was, oh man, that's who my dad was. So I'm sure for him, it made him feel good because all of that stuff that he was watching, he really came from that. But that was really his legacy. And yeah, I'm sure for him, it felt good to know that his dad was this big hustler who turned out to be a snitch, who got his brains removed from his head.
He was trying to shape Misa into his mother. Can you see that? Like,
yeah, with the blonde hair and yeah, and all of that. I mean, somebody
really
asked a question: what kind of man puts his hands on his mother? The same kind of man that parties with his mom, the same kind of man who kisses his mom in the mouth, the same kind of man who seems to have accurate knowledge that his elderly mother can put both of her hands, her palms, on the floor and while she's standing up, bent over.
Oh damn! I ain't seen that one. Oh,
You never seen the Instagram video when he was talking about how his mom is still young and spry and how she still liked the party and how they was getting a IV drip.
Oh, damn!
And she was kissing him in the mouth on the video. And he was like, "Yeah, my mom can bend over and touch the floor with her palms." It's a very, very, very weird relationship.
You know, it kind of goes into. I mean, he seems to be having, and again, I know the freak offs that his son is there. Like, it seems like he likes to get down with his kids.
Yeah. But that wasn't all. Just the to hear little Rod say, like, the boys were around. Roger Bonds talked about the children as well. What kind of parenting relationship is that? But then again, that goes back to the conversation of Lori Harvey, Steve Harvey's daughter. It was all known that she was spotted in them streets with Justin, and then she was spotted in them streets with Diddy, and they all tried to sit there and pretend like that wasn't what it was. Like, I don't know if anybody has not noticed, but ever since Diddy got pinched, they've all been trying to pretend like all of the stuff that we've seen that happened, that they was all involved in, didn't happen. If Lori Harvey was hanging out, and it's kind of weird, like the whole relationship with Justin looks weird. He looks like Mini-Me with Dr. Evil. It's weird. Like, why are there people? Why is there sexual behavior going on? And why are people naked in front of their kids, G? Doing all kinds of stuff.
And meanwhile, Misa's running around making comments about how she don't like the way that Eric Sermon was depicting her in the documentary. You don't like the way you're being talked about in the documentary. You don't like the fact that, because see, it wasn't Gene Deal, because Gene Deal said he wasn't there, and thank God that he was able to admit that. Kirk Burrows did say that he was there and present when Diddy was beating the brakes off of Misa and putting the feet to her.